everybody, Kevin here. Welcome to the Claremont Classic Garage. Up till now, we've gone to the junkyard, got new quarter panels for the car, cut off the old ones, got the new ones fitted, got them welded on, got the welds all dressed down. So now we're going to start today actually finishing our work. We're going to lay some filler into it, and after that, we're going to do sealer, and then we're going to prime it, and then we're going to do our final sanding, and we're going to put some paint on it. Hopefully it'll turn out good. I just put the second coat of plastic on. This stuff should probably really go in the trash. It's pretty old and it's really thick and hard to work with, but it could also be because it's a little bit cool. So what I've done is I've put a light bulb against the can and wrapped a cloth around it. So we'll see if we can get it a little more of a good consistency. But anyway, I really don't care. I'll muddle my way through it. While I'm in between coats of Bondo on the quarter panels, I'm going to have another go at getting this tailgate to work properly. Now, one thing I did learn is this piece, a lot of the little plastic tabs are busted off, probably from the wreck. So I'm going to have to go up to the wreckers and get one of these. So I found out this trim panel here was just catching on the top of the striker there when it came down. So I trimmed it up a little bit, and then what else I found out, the other grinding noise it was making was this piece here rubbing on this trim piece. Well, all the clips are busted off it. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to go up in the morning to the wreckers, get a new trim piece, pop it on, and see if that still rubs. If not, we'll come up with a little plan for that too. Also, in between waiting for coats of plastic to dry, I've gotten a lot of the sealing done. I also noticed in the fall when I was putting the snow tires on that she was getting due for brakes all around. I did the fronts, but I decided the rears could probably make it till spring. Well, it's spring, so it's time to do them. I'll do that while I'm waiting for plastic to dry. So on this crazy car, because of the way you can see the flex hose screwed into the caliper like that, you cannot get the top caliper bolt out. So all you can do is take the bottom one out and swing it up out of the way to get the rotor off. It's a little bit silly, but that's how it is. Anyway, so you can see here's our new ones. We got we got our money's worth out of those. So I'll go ahead, clean up what we can, and we'll stick our new rotors on and put our new pads in, and we should be good to go. They'll probably last a good long time now that we're not driving this thing every day like we used to. Oh, that's the brakes done on this side. I'm going to check if it's time to sand my plastic or not. As funny as it looks, this is pretty much there. You basically kind of go by feel. I mean, it's not totally perfect, but it's my Dodge Caliber that we go shopping with. It's a little high here. And then once we start now with some less aggressive paper, and this will all start getting brought down and feathered in. Same on the other side. We were using a 40 grit strip on a pneumatic sander to get it down to this point. Now I'm going to start, I might go 60, 80. You know, you just start kind of working your way up and getting this smoothed in. You can pretty much feel with your hand where you need to work. So we're getting there pretty well here. There's a little bulge in it here. It's so easy to warp this stuff when you're welding it. Got some primer on there, and it's looking pretty darn good, I'd say. I'm going in for dinner now. When I come back out, I got to get some spot putty on a few little spots here and there. Then I'm going to let everything dry overnight, and tomorrow we'll start working it with the 400 wet. And we should be able to get this thing ready for paint. That'll be nice. So we're at this stage now, or at least I think I'm at this stage. I got done with the body filler. I probably could have gone maybe one more skin coat with the body filler, but, well, I didn't. Anyway, I put a decent coat of filler primer on it and some spot putty or glaze putty. Now I'm going to wet sand it and see if I can get it down to something that I can lay some color on. I could tell by the amount of glaze putty that I had to use that I probably needed one more really thin coat of plastic on there. But anyway, it is what it is. Like I said, this thing ain't going to Barrett-Jackson. It goes to Loblaws and the junkyard. But it goes to the junkyard to get parts, not to be parts. Remember that. To wet sand, I've got a bucket of warm water with just a drop of dish soap in it and some 320 wet or dry, and that seems to work pretty well for this sort of thing. Anyway, time to get to work. So this is what it looks like after wet sanding it. You can see here there's still a few little scratches, but we're going to go ahead now and put another coat of filler primer on it, and this stuff will all start disappearing. Here's how this side looks. I'm still waiting for this to dry a little bit before I put more primer on it. We could also at this stage, if we were doing like a really nice body job, we could spray on a light guide coat of black or some dark color, and then we would very gently go over it with a board to make sure we were good and straight. But really, smooth is more important right now than being laser straight. It'll look fine when it's done, so we're going to skip that step. Here's our supplies. I've got 2 cans of the old Chrysler PS2 bright silver metallic that they have used for about 50 years and still using it. This is some kind of crazy super duper clear coat that we'll need. This is rocker guard for when we do the rocker panels. Oh, this isn't even for this. This is the bright white for the white Ram. It's got a little ding in it. We're getting very close to shooting some paint on this. So the last steps I've done is I've taped it up. I've got where I want my paint break to be. This 2-stage paint, you really need to paint whole panels. You can't float it in and blend it that easily like we used to with the old enamel paints. So I've decided to use this body line here as my break. So I'll only have about, a foot of maybe 16 inches of break. The window takes up the rest of the break. So that's how we're going to do it. I've gone up here, and this new part, I've just gotten some 320 dry sandpaper and just scuffed that up, taking the gloss off it so the paint's got something to bite to. Now the last thing we're going to do is get a tack rag and tack the whole thing so there's no dust at all on it. And then we're going to open up a can of paint and, oh boy, see what happens. Well, it looks good from here. The body work on this side isn't quite as good. There's lots of little flaws in it, but you know what? For what it's going to do, it's just fine. Now we're going to lay on some dupli-color extreme gloss finish clear. It's UV proof. Let's see, UV protection, gasoline resistant, and scratch resistant. Perfect. I should have sprayed the whole car with this when I first got it. Let's see how this stuff goes on.
Same. We just want to know the truth. Why don't you?
If it stays that shiny when it's actually dry, I'll be pretty impressed. It looks good. While I wait for the paint on the car to dry, I'm going to start seeing about buffing these rust stains off the bumper. Hopefully they'll come off. And wow, there's a lot of things on here that tell a lot of stories about days gone by. This, and this stuff around here is from one day. I hopped in the car. I was in a hurry to go somewhere, and I started it up and stuck it in reverse and let the clutch up and went flying down the driveway and came to an abrupt stop because I forgot there was a trailer on the back of it. Oops. Yeah, what are you going to do? This here is the license plate screws from the car that rear-ended it. This car, when it was almost brand new, it got rear-ended, but not hard. You can see that was all that it did to it. And this stuff here is from our accident the other week when we got clobbered from behind. Considering the amount of damage, that's the only hole in the bumper. It's amazing. I mean, it's scuffed up pretty good. We'll see if we can buff some of that out and maybe touch up some of these chips. I'm not too worried about it. A lot of stuff happens to the ends of cars. I just don't like it when the problems are on the sides of cars. That looks terrible. But the ends, you can get away with a lot more. So anyway, I'm going to grab my my polish or something and see if I can get the rust stains polished off. Color's not exactly right, but or perfect, but you know, hey, it is what it is. A lot of time with these metallic-y colors, depends what angle you look at them from. Nah, still don't match. Anyway, I don't care. It looks better than rust. Yeah, it's pretty much dry. So now I'm not going to roughly handle the quarter panels or anything, but I could start working in the periphery here, getting some stuff put back on. So I've put our exhausters in. Those are for when you, these new cars are sealed up so good. When you shut the door, these things will, and let that cushion of air out when you shut the door. I've gone and put the locators for the taillights in. Now I guess I can install the taillights themselves. Somewhere along the line, this backup light, the bulb got broken, so I have to go out the back and pull one out of an old car because for some reason I don't have one. That's strange. I'll be back. Once you start putting it back together, the bad bodywork just kind of disappears into the forest, you know. Now, I've got all the little bits and pieces for securing the bumper installed. I guess I could go ahead now and put the bumper on. Well, that's a darn sight better, isn't it? Well, I gotta say that looks a lot better than the rusty and smashed up mess that it was before. I'm going to let the paint on that quarter panel harden up just a little bit more overnight before I even attempt to install the gas filler door and put that plastic grommet thing snap back in. We're going to call this mission a success. We got the quarter panels changed. They're on. They're painted silver-ish. And the bodywork doesn't look all that terrible. She's a good 30-footer. Anyway, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please, by all means, down below there, hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications. You can hit the like button, leave a comment, share this video out to all your fellow Dodge Caliber enthusiasts. And until next time, this is Kevin checking out from the Claremont Classic Garage. Thanks, and so long.